What's going on, everyone? My name is Aaron. This is Dad.0. Today, the brand new Amazon Fire Max 11 was released, and I've been playing around with it for a few hours. So I decided to show you guys the unboxing and just give you my first impressions from playing around with it for a few hours. Now, just so you know, I got the 64 gig version and the productivity bundle with the keyboard and stylus pen. So let's take this thing out and take a look. Taking the tablet out of the package, it feels really well made. I love the aluminum and it just feels really familiar. It actually feels a lot like the Lenovo tablets that I've reviewed, like the P11 Pro and the Lenovo Duet. Something about the curvature and the angles that they used here feel very similar to that. But overall, it does feel nice and premium, and it does feel good in the hand. It weighs about 17 ounces or 490 grams, so nice and lightweight. You also get your USB-C charging cord and wall adapter and user manuals. Let's take a look at the other items. First, the keyboard. Taking this out, and again, it does feel extremely similar to the P11 Pro keyboard. And that's not a bad thing at all. I actually really enjoyed it. But I can't help but wonder if they paired up with Lenovo to make this tablet. It's a two-piece keyboard that has the back that magnetically attaches and has a kickstand in it. And then you have your keyboard, which attaches via pogo pins to the tablet. And first impressions are that it feels pretty nice. It has this nice fabric on the outside that feels great when you're carrying it around. The keys are nice and clicky. There is a trackpad here. It's rather small, but you kind of have to expect that. So we'll give this a try in just a bit. Lastly, let's take a look at the stylus. Now, I'm probably the last guy you want to ask about a stylus because the only thing I use a stylus for is for taking notes. I am far from an artist and I don't really draw much either, so I don't quite have the experience in that, but this one specifically has kind of that traditional feel to it. It's powered by one quadruple A battery that they say can last up to 6 months. It attaches to the side of the tablet. It has over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity and has tilt support. More on this in just a bit. But for now, let's go back to this tablet. Now, obviously, we have an 11-inch screen here with a resolution of 2000 by 1200, which puts it at 213 pixels per inch, which is actually less than the HD10 Plus at 224 ppi. But my first initial impressions are that it is definitely a nice screen. Everything looks crisp and clear. Watching shows and movies on it look great. You can definitely read on this if you want to. It's far from like the mini LED screens that you see on iPad Pros or the OLED displays on Samsungs, but this tablet is just a little bit over 200 bucks, whereas those are a couple $100 more, so you definitely have to factor that in. One kind of funny thing is that while the fingerprint scanner does work well on the power button, when you unlock the tablet, it still brings up an ad first that you have to swipe up from to actually get to the home screen. Now, Amazon says by keeping ads on here, they're able to keep the cost down, but in all honesty, I've seen tablets with similar specs and similar price that have no ads on them, so I'm not sure if I buy that, but if you just can't stand it, you can pay to have an ad-free experience. All right, let's talk about the performance. And obviously I've only had this for a few hours, so I can't speak in depth about it, but Amazon is definitely marketing this for people that like to multitask and use it for productivity. And they say that the performance is greatly improved with a new octa-core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, Wi-Fi 6, and it also ships with Fire OS 8. And in my experience, this does get around pretty good. I mean, Fire OS isn't a really demanding operating system anyway, but I do have some concerns with just 4 gigs of RAM if you really want this to be a true productivity machine. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But at the same time, Amazon's not really marketing this as a computer replacement like an iPad Pro is. This is definitely a companion device, something that you can get light tasks done on, but also use as an entertainment device, which I think most people want from their tablet anyway. They don't really expect it to replace their desktop or laptop computers, so as long as you have that mindset going in, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Now, the bummer about Amazon tablets is that they limit you to just the Amazon App Store, but just like basically every other Amazon tablet, I'm sure there'll be ways to sideload the Google Play Store on this soon if you can't already. Another thing to consider is whether 64 gigs will be enough for you. Yes, you have that expandable storage up to 1 terabyte, which is awesome, but not everything can be transferred over to that. So if you're truly going to use this for productivity and saving a lot of large files on it, it and having a ton of apps, you may want to consider bumping up to that 128 gig model. I have tried out the new 8 megapixel camera on the front. I do like that they put it on the side so that when you're holding this in landscape, the camera is on top, and it looks pretty good. I mean, perfectly fine for video conferencing. The mics pick up your voice really well. The speakers are very nice too. They get nice and loud. They don't have a ton of bass, but you really don't expect that from a tablet at this price point. Battery life seems good. Again, only a couple hours in, so I can't tell for sure, but like most Fire tablets, you're gonna get pretty good battery life. So overall first impressions of the tablet are quite good, I'd say. It feels nice and premium in the hand. The screen is nice and clear, and at 11 inches, it's great for watching content or reading. It does feel pretty snappy, even when multitasking, so I do like this tablet. But I also want this to kind of be a forum, so if you have questions about it, as I'm learning about this tablet and using it more, ask the question in the comments below and I will respond to them. The keyboard is also really nice. Everything is very responsive, connects via pogo pins really well. The trackpad is nice to use, although rather small. You have some hand gestures here for multitasking, which is great, but I really like this style of keyboard because you can just detach the keyboard when you're not using it and keep the back on, which has that kickstand, so you can prop this up hands-free and watch your content that way. You do have some shortcut keys on the top here for things like brightness, play and skip buttons, volume, and locking the tablet, and the only thing I wish it had is a backlight. Unfortunately, no backlight on this keyboard, but other than that, it's a solid keyboard. For the stylus, again, I'm not the best person to ask, but to me it feels good. It feels like a pencil in my hand, and it feels pretty responsive. Obviously, it's not going to be as responsive as a screen that has a higher refresh rate, but doing things like taking notes and doing light sketching and drawing works just fine. So that is my first impressions of the Amazon Fire Max 11 tablet and productivity bundle with the keyboard and stylus. Like I said before, first impressions are really solid. If you're looking for a mid-range tablet to do light productivity and something you can use as an entertainment device, make no mistake, this is not going to be your computer replacement or an iPad Pro killer or anything like that, but it's definitely a solid mid-range tablet that will do most things people use a tablet for. Again, I'll be using this a lot over the next couple of weeks, so if you have questions, put them in the comments below. As always, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.